We meet at a crossroads in history.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. So this is my review of a very quick kind of review of the year, and then looking forward to what I'm going to be doing next year, and thinking about some of the authors that I've discovered over the year as well, which is cool. So I'm going to start, because I looked at the 2021 to 2022 video. I'm going to look at that for a second, and then talk about this year, and then talk about next year. So 2021, I discovered Ted Chiang, which is a massive big deal for me, because those two books that he wrote are two of my favourite books. I absolutely love those books and recommend Ted Chiang to anybody. So that was one of the authors that I discovered in 2021. Also, I started the Dresden Files books by Jim Butcher in 2021. And Andrew Kaufman I discovered, and I did a video on Andrew Kaufman. I thought he was really interesting. So there was him as well. And Nicholas Eames, those two books there. So I read Kings of the Wild in 2021, and I read Bloody Rose this year. And Joe Hill as well. So Joe Hill was also someone I discovered for the first time in 2021. So that was what I covered in that video. That I said 5 authors that I discovered, and 5 authors I was hoping to discover the following year. So, interestingly enough, the 5 authors that I expected to discover in 2022, at the end of 2021, was different to what I actually read. So in the end, out of the 5, I only actually read something by 2 of them. So, Nnedi Okorafor was one of them, and I did read Binti. So that was cool. And Brandon Sanderson. So he's up there. Brandon Sanderson. I read the first book, The Final Empire, around March time, and absolutely loved it. So out of the 5 authors I expected to read, there was only those 2. So I didn't read anything by Chuck Palahniuk. So that's still on my TBR, and I've got about 4 of his books, I think. But I was going to start with Fight Club, obviously, but haven't got to him yet. Haven't got to Murakami, and I've got a few of his books. I'm not really sure what I'm going to think of them, to be fair, but I do want to read some Murakami. And Michael Crichton. Still haven't read any Michael Crichton. So, again, I've got Jurassic Park and The Lost World, Prey, the time travel one. Is it called Timeline? Got that as well. They haven't read anything by him. So, out of those 5 that I predicted I was going to read, only read 2. So, as far as the highlights for what I read, I was going to just point out 5 authors that I did read this year that I was really pleased to discover. So, Joe Abercrombie. So, around there is the Joe Abercrombie books. And I read those. I said I read those. I read the first one. I haven't read the other 2 yet, but I read the first one. Really liked it. Did a video about that. Celeste Ng. So that was a little bit out of my comfort zone. I really enjoyed it. That was Everything I Never Told You. So she's also written Little Fires Everywhere, and there's a new one that she just brought out as well. So I will read those because I like the way it was written. Stephen Graham Jones. So a relatively new horror writer, and I read The Only Good Indians, and that was really good. I thought I saw it. Maybe not. That was really good. And that was another author I discovered this year. John Christopher. I read The Death of Grass, and I'm going to read more of John Christopher. Very similar to John Wyndham, I think, in style and tone. I did a video on The Death of Grass, if you're interested in seeing that. And Annalee Newitz. So Annalee Newitz, I've got one of my time travel books I need to read is by her. The Future of Another Timeline, I think it's called. But I did read Autonomous, and I thought it was really good. Really liked Autonomous. So that was Annalee Newitz. So those were the authors that I discovered in 2022. Next year, there's another bunch of Adrian Tchaikovsky I want to read. There's tons and tons of J.G. Ballard I'm going to read, and there's some more kind of catching up things to do. There's some random books that I've put up in different book hauls that I need to read. Oh, and I still haven't delved into James Baldwin. I've got 3 of his books up there that I need to read. So a whole selection of things I'm going to read next year. But just wanted to talk about some of the things I'm going to be doing on the channel. So some of these things have been announced already. Some of them haven't been. So I definitely announced the Ray Bradbury deep dive I was going to do. So that starts next month. A deep dive into Ray Bradbury in publication order. So we'll see if there's any gaps in my collection and I can't get hold of something, then I might have to skip it. But I'm hoping that I'll do it slow enough so I can get some things to fill gaps if I need to. But that's the plan anyway, and I've got quite a lot of his stuff to get me going anyway. But the Ray Bradbury deep dive is happening from next month, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also doing the deep dive into folk tales, fables and folklore, which I want to let that last a couple of years. So I want that to be a nice chilled look through different cultures as well, different countries, different traditions from around the world, different folk tales. So that should be really interesting. If anyone wants to suggest anything on the back of that idea, that I'm going to be looking at as many different cultures and countries as I can, that would be really cool. And I'm also going to be doing at least a few videos on Harlan Ellison. So Harlan Ellison is someone I've collected all my life, but I want to reread his stuff because I haven't actually read. I reread Boy and His Dog last year, but I haven't read a lot of his stuff for a long time. So I'm going to reread everything I've got, and I've got a lot. So I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to talk about his non-fiction stuff as well in a separate video. But I'm going to start with my top 10 favourite short stories by Harlan Ellison as well. That's what I'm going to start with. But there's going to be a bunch of Harlan Ellison videos anyway I'm going to do. And I'm also going to read my daughter's 3 favourite books. So one of them will be a reread because it's one of my favourite books anyway. But the other 2 are books I wouldn't normally have read. So that'll be interesting because I'm going to find out what I think about those books. So it's a way of getting out of my comfort zone and reading something that she particularly likes. So that'll be cool. I'm also going to be doing a semi-regular feature on my writing. So that's going to be just going to pop up now and again. So if I have an idea or there's a development in my writing or something I want to talk about, maybe an epiphany or something, I don't know, then that's going to pop up. So that's just going to be something that's going to be coming on the channel randomly pretty much. But if you think that's a nice thing, then please comment below if you like the idea of more stuff about the writing stuff I do. And I'm going to start doing a monthly wrap-up. So the monthly wrap-up is basically because I feel like I've got enough subscribers and there's enough of a conversation with the people who comment and other booktubers that a monthly wrap-up seems to be more relevant than it used to be, which would be interesting. And I often think that once you've done a video, you only really get the views for the first sort of week, and then nobody ever watches it again. And maybe a monthly wrap-up gives you a chance to say, oh, I did this video earlier in the month, or I read this book earlier in the month, and it's really good, or it's interesting, or whatever. So that would be a good reason to do a monthly wrap-up. And that will be starting from next month. I've also got Scheduled to Appear, which is going to appear in the gap between Christmas and New Year. It's going to be my top 10 films I would want to take with me on a desert island. So clearly it's not the same as books because you wouldn't physically take a film. You'd have to have a player and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, the principle is 10 films you can do without. I mean, it's a turn of phrase, isn't it? It's like a bucket list isn't an actual bucket, is it? So it's that kind of thing, isn't it? So 10 films I would take on a desert island. And I was talking about this on the live stream with Mark and Carrie and Sean for the Desert Island Books wrap-up video just done this week. It was a really good experience, actually. But anyway, in that conversation, I mentioned that I'd done this video. It was actually based on someone else's video I saw, another YouTuber I saw had done this video. I thought, I'll do my version of that. And they suggested, and I think Scott suggested as well, Scott from Bookish Bryants, I think he sort of like was like, yeah, that I did a live stream conversation like Sean does with the Desert Island Books on films that people love. So I'm quite up for that, but I haven't made a decision yet. But if you do think that's a good idea, please let me know below, and it could be something I could do. My film reviews don't really get a lot of views, but it's different anyway, having a conversation live on a live stream with someone. So I do think it does sound like a cool idea. So I'll probably do that, but I haven't massively said yes, I'm going to do it yet. But yeah, I think it's a nice idea, so I'll probably do it. So so there's that. And the other thing I was going to say is that as far as my plans go, I'm going to try and do the biggest unhaul I've ever done before. So I counted my books, and I've got a ridiculous amount of books. I'm going to say this really quickly: 1,800. It's a lot of books. So I want to try and get rid of at least 200. If I can get rid of 200 books, then I'll feel like I've made a big dent in it. And there must be books I don't need. There must be. But clearly I have got a lot of books. So I'm going to do that as a big unhaul, and I'd like to find a way of making that into a video. So look out for that. And I just wanted to say just a massive thank you to the people that have commented on my videos, watched my videos, the booktubers that mentioned me or tagged me or made a reference to my channel, or that have spoken to me on the screen. I've done a few live streams now. So a massive thank you to all of those people. And the booktube community is a lovely community, and most people are really nice and friendly, and it's a really nice thing to be in the middle of. And now I feel like I am in the middle of it, which is nice because of these conversations I have, and that people refer to my channel and stuff, which is great. So I do feel like I'm a part of it, which is really nice. So that's a big thing for this year, really, because last year I'd say I was on the fringe, kind of doing my thing, and pleased with my videos, but not necessarily engaging as much with other people. And this year I've done a lot of that, which is really good. So huge thank you to the people that have contributed to my channel as with a comment, or through recommending it or mentioning it or whatever, those kind of things. Huge thank you to those people, and the people that have inspired me as well. There's a lot of really good booktubers, some that I mentioned in the 12 booktubers of Christmas, that their videos are, so I'm trying to suppress a cough, hold on. Their videos really inspire me to get better at what I do, and think about, how articulate is my book review, or how much have I sold the book if I'm trying to recommend it to people. How interesting is my videos? The people that make really good videos really do inspire you to get better, and there are lots of fantastic booktubers out there that are great examples of people doing it extremely well. Huge thank you to anyone that I've become friends with over the time. There's quite a lot of people, which is really nice. So yeah, that's this year. That's 2022. 2023 should be a really good year. Going to be an interesting year. And my son graduates in February, which is a bit awesome. So that'll be it might be a different kind of ceremony, as it's a music college. That'll be quite cool. But he's going to get his degree in professional musicianship, and my daughter would have finished her first year of actual proper teaching, so that would be really cool. And I'm going to be releasing at least another book, maybe another two if I can, because they're two very different things that I'm going to be working on. So I might be able to release 2 other books, but definitely one, a poetry book I'm working on, which is going really well. So I'm very happy with that. So that'll be happening. And there'll be a new Bemis album as well, hopefully by the end of the year. So there's a new single just came out hopefully there'll be a new Bemis album as well. So that would be really cool. So lots to look forward to. And as I said, thanks a million for watching and for encouraging me to do this more personal YouTube channel. And have a fantastic year. Please enjoy the year. See and speak to the people that you love as much as you can. Find headspace as much as you can. Do what's best for you. Change your life if you're not happy. Gravitate to what makes you happy. Gravitate to the people that make you happy. And just understand that time goes quickly and life is short. And you've got to be happy. Have a great year. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Paint me a picture